Look at them. Just look at them. Smiling, laughing, acting like they've already won. Acting like the last few months, the lies, the manipulation, the sheer disrespect, never even happened. This is the image they want you to see. Bayley, the role model, with her shiny new protege, Lyra Valkyria. The fresh-faced, high-flying understudy who supposedly represents the future. They stand there, arms raised, the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships held high, as if they earned them through pure merit and not through a calculated, cold-hearted betrayal that ripped the heart out of what was supposed to be a sisterhood. But we remember, don't we? We remember the Damage Control logo splashed across the screen. We remember the friendship, the loyalty Bayley demanded, only to shatter at the second it was no longer convenient for her. We remember the stunned, heartbroken look on Dakota Kai's face. We remember Io Sky, the genius of the sky, watching her so-called leader turn on her for a newer, shinier model. This isn't just about championships anymore. This is about a debt. A debt of betrayal that is about to be called in the most brutal fashion imaginable. Because the reckoning is no longer coming. The reckoning is here. And it has a name. 2 names, actually. Names that echo through the history of this industry and strike a very specific, very primal fear into the hearts of those who dare to call themselves champions. Charlotteflair and Alexa Bliss. Let that sink in for a moment. Let the sheer, terrifying weight of those names settle in the pit of your stomach if you're Bayley or Lyra. You can play your games. You can craft your narratives. You can stand in the middle of that ring and preach about a new era all you want. But you are about to be confronted by 2 very different, yet equally devastating, manifestations of raw, unadulterated power. You have awoken a storm, and you are about to find out why you never, ever tempt the fates in WWE. First, let's talk about the woman who needs no last name, but possesses the most iconic one in all of sports entertainment, Charlotteflair. The Queen. To even call her a superstar feels insufficient. She is a foundational pillar of this entire women's evolution. She is the standard. 14-time world champion. A resume so glittering, so dominant, that it exists in a stratosphere most can only dream of. When Charlotte is on her game, focused, and with a title in her sights, she is quite simply the most complete and destructive force in the entire women's division. There is no weakness to exploit. There is no skill she does not possess at an elite level. Her athleticism is Olympian. Her strength is deceptive and brutal. And her mindset? It is that of a champion who was born and bred for this very pressure. The figure-8 leglock isn't just a submission move, it is a statement. It is a slow, agonizing, and very public surrender forced upon her opponents. And what does Bayley have? A few months of feel-good momentum after a great WrestleMania moment? A chip on her shoulder from her own past misdeeds? Do you genuinely believe that is enough to stand across the ring from a Flair? From the Flair? Charlotte doesn't just want to win matches. She needs to win. It is encoded in her DNA. The legacy of her father, the nature boy Ric Flair, is a shadow she both carries and transcends. Every match, every title defense, every single moment in that ring is another chapter in the book she is writing to cement her own, undeniable legacy as the greatest of all time. To Charlotte, Bayley and Lyra aren't worthy challengers, they are obstacles. Temporary roadblocks on her inevitable path back to the summit. And the Queen has never been known for her patience with obstacles. She dismantles them. She humiliates them. She makes them wish they had never been placed in her path to begin with. But if Charlotte is the calculated, dominant force of nature, then her partner in this coming war is the chaotic, unpredictable, and psychologically terrifying wild card, Alexa Bliss. And here is where this story gets truly fascinating, and where the so-called confidence of Bayley and Lyra should turn into genuine, cold sweat fear. Where have you been, Alexa? The world has been asking that question for months. We've seen glimpses, but not the full picture. We haven't seen the full, unhinged, terrifying potential of what Alexa Bliss is truly capable of. Remember what she did to Randy Orton? The mind games? The supernatural aura? The complete and utter dismantling of a top-tier legend's psyche before she even laid a finger on him? That power didn't just vanish. It has been simmering, festering, waiting for the perfect catalyst to explode back onto the scene. And what better catalyst than this? A chance for vengeance? A chance to re-establish her dominance in the most visceral way possible? To partner with arguably the most physically dominant woman of all time? This is not just a tag team. This is a perfect storm. Charlotte is the thunder loud, powerful, and destructive. Alexa is the lightning unpredictable, blindingly fast, and striking with deadly precision from anywhere. Think about the in-ring dynamic. Bayley and Lyra might have a game plan for Charlotte. They might think they can use their speed, their double-team moves, to isolate her, to wear down the larger opponent. It's a classic strategy. But how in the world do you game plan for Alexa Bliss? How do you prepare for the twisted bliss, that breathtaking moonsault that can come from the top rope out of nowhere, ending a match in an instant? How do you prepare for that haunting, unsettling smile she gives you right before she sinks in the mandible claw, a move that doesn't just inflict physical pain, but seems to siphon the very will to fight right out of your soul? You can't. That's the point. You can't prepare for the unknown. And right now, Alexa Bliss is the great unknown. She is a locked box, and Bayley and Lyra are the ones who are going to have to pry it open, unleashing whatever has been brewing inside for all these months. This isn't the Alexa Bliss of the past few years. This is a woman with something to prove. A woman who watched the landscape change in her absence and is now coming back to reclaim her spot, not with a request, but with a violent eviction notice served to the current tenants of the tag team division. Now, let's talk about the champions. Let's talk about the duo standing in the path of this oncoming hurricane. Bayley, the self-proclaimed role model who has, in her own twisted way, become a victim of her own success. She built Damage Control. She was the mastermind. She was the one calling the shots. And then, the moment she won the Royal Rumble, the moment she stood tall at WrestleMania, something shifted. The power dynamic changed. She was no longer the underdog leader of a faction, she was the top-tier single star. And in her wake, she left Io Sky and Dakota Kai, only to seemingly replace them with the bright, new potential of Lyra Valkyria. Do not for 1 second believe this is a genuine mentorship. This is a transaction. Bayley sees in Lyra what she once saw in herself, a hungry, talented competitor she can mold and, ultimately, use as a shield. Lyra is the perfect foil, immensely talented, incredibly fast, with a high-flying style that can bewilder opponents. She is the future. But is the future ready for the combined, concentrated wrath of the past and present? Lyra Valkyria, for all her incredible skill, is walking into a nightmare scenario. This is no longer about proving you belong. This is about survival. This is about being locked in a cage with two predators who have forgotten more about main event pressure than she has ever experienced. Her NXT pedigree means nothing here. Her victory over Becky Lynch is a distant memory. This is the big leagues, and the rent is due. And the landlords are Charlotteflair and Alexa Bliss. How does Lyra's graceful, aerial-based defense work when Charlotte is methodically dismantling her leg, targeting every joint, every muscle, turning her greatest asset into a crippling weakness? How does she focus on her high-risk maneuvers when Alexa Bliss is on the apron, staring into her soul, whispering God knows what into her ear, playing games that Lyra has never even had to think about before? The psychological warfare in this match will be just as important as the physical. Bayley is a master of getting under people's skin, of using her words as weapons. But what words does she have for Charlotteflair, a woman who has heard it all and is utterly impervious to trash talk? What mind games can she play on Alexa Bliss, a woman who literally lives in the realm of the mind, who thrives in the chaos that others fear? Bayley's greatest weapon is being neutralized before the bell even rings. Imagine the scene. The arena is electric. The camera flashes are a constant strobe light. The crowd is split, but there's an underlying tension, a sense that they are about to witness something historic, and something violently conclusive. The music hits. First, one team, then the other. The four women stand in the ring, the titles hanging in the balance. But this isn't just about gold. It's about legacies. It's about vengeance. It's about the established order reasserting its dominance with an iron fist. The bell rings. The feeling out process is a lie. There is no feeling out. There is only immediate, explosive violence. Charlotte locks up with Bayley, and you can feel the hatred in the shove. Lyra tags in, trying to use her speed, but a single, thunderous chop from Charlotte stops her dead in her tracks. The sound echoes through the arena. You see the shock register on Lyra's face. This is a different level of power. This is a different kind of pain. Alexa tags in. The dynamic shifts entirely. The methodical pressure of Charlotte is replaced by the eerie, fluid movement of Bliss. She slinks around the ring, a predator playing with her food. She ducks under Lyra's attacks, a smirk on her face, before unleashing a flurry of stiff strikes. She doesn't just want to win, she wants to break Lyra's spirit. She wants to prove that the future isn't as bright as everyone thinks. The match wears on. Bayley, the veteran, manages to create an opening. She isolates Alexa, using her cunning to cut off the ring. She and Lyra start working a quick, efficient double team, focusing on Alexa's back, trying to take the fight out of her. For a moment, it looks like their strategy might work. They are the cohesive unit. They have the experience as a team. They hit a double suplex. A near fall. The crowd gasps. Bayley starts to get that look in her eye, the one that says she might actually pull this off. She taunts Charlotte on the apron, screaming that this is her division, her era. Big mistake. You never, ever taunt the queen. The distraction is all Alexa needs. A well-placed enziguri stuns Bayley. The hot tag is made. And the arena erupts as Charlotteflair steps through the ropes. It's not a tag, it's a relief pitcher bringing in a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. She cleans house. Clotheslines for everyone. A monstrous spear to Lyra that sends her crashing to the outside in a heap. She turns her attention to Bayley. You can see the desperation in Bayley's eyes. She throws everything she has at Charlotte, but it's like throwing pebbles at a tank. Charlotte absorbs it all, a cold, focused fury in her eyes. She hoists Bayley up for a powerbomb, but instead of going for the pin, she drags her to the center of the ring. She's setting up for the figure eight. This is it. This is the end. She wants to make Bayley tap out in the center of the ring, to humiliate the so-called role model in the most definitive way possible. But wait. Lyra Valkyria, showing an incredible, desperate burst of heart, scrambles back into the ring. She leaps onto Charlotte's back, trying to break the hold. The referee is trying to pull her off. It's chaos. And in that split second of chaos, as everyone is distracted, Alexa Bliss sees her opening. She has slowly, methodically, climbed to the top turnbuckle. The crowd points, a roar building. She isn't looking at Lyra. She isn't looking at the referee. She is looking directly at Bayley, trapped in Charlotte's grasp. That haunting smile returns. She pushes off. Twisted Bliss. But it's not a moonsault aimed at a body. It's a missile. She crashes down, not on Lyra, but directly onto the legs of Charlotteflair, crushing Bayley in the process. The impact is sickening. Charlotte collapses, releasing the hold. Bayley is writhing in pain. Lyra is stunned. The referee is in shock. And in the middle of the ring, Alexa Bliss gets to her feet. She doesn't check on Charlotte. She doesn't look concerned. She simply looks satisfied. She rolls Bayley over, not for a pin, but she hooks her. The mandible claw. She sinks it in deep. Bayley's eyes go wide, her body seizes up, and then goes limp. Alexa releases the hold. She makes a casual tag to Charlotte. The Queen, summoning every ounce of her willpower, drags herself over and makes the cover. 1, 2, 3, it's over. The new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Charlotteflair and Alexa Bliss. But the victory isn't met with a celebration. Charlotte gets to her feet, holding her leg, a look of confused anger on her face as she stares at her partner. Alexa simply picks up one of the titles, looks at it, then looks at Charlotte, that same unnerving smile on her face. The music hits. The two most dangerous women in the company stand in the ring, champions, but the alliance already looks fractured. The storm they brought has passed, but it has left behind a landscape of destruction, and the seeds for the next, even greater conflict have already been sown. This is more than a match. This is a statement. A warning. A line drawn in the sand. The past and the present have collided, and the future has been put on hold. So, Bayley, Lyra, was it worth it? Was the betrayal, the title reign, the glory, worth awakening the fury of a queen and the twisted psyche of a goddess? Comment below. Let me know who you think survives this war. Share this video, because what comes next will redefine the women's division forever.